5 years ago, they said Tesla was never going to really be profitable. Then they said never would get to 100, 200,000 deliveries a year. Now we're talking about 2 million. When it comes to robotaxis, it's a matter of when, not if. And I believe this gets accelerated, and that's why Musk, and you're seeing it in the stock, they have had issues. But the game changes now for Tesla, for Musk. And look, there will clearly be noise out there. How is it going to balance everything? As a Tesla investor,
taking a step back, if I asked you to try to drive a golf ball off the pier here into a teacup, and I gave you 1 million chances, I'm very sure you wouldn't be able to accomplish it. However, you would think, wow, that person is a great golfer if you pick someone else and they were able to accomplish it 9 times out of 10. Elon essentially performed that equivalent, to use my comparison. In orbit, he was able to launch a rocket, do a variety of fascinating, highly productive and beneficial tasks for the planet, and then return to Earth and land on a boat in the middle of the ocean. To be honest, the level of technological knowledge he possesses and has been able to implement throughout his organizations is unmatched. Therefore, when we examined Tesla, we believed that the firm was at a turning point, which was as near to its own version of the iPhone moment as possible. And by that, I mean a business that had been maturing, taking chances, and eventually discovered the mass market product that would enable a huge degree of product market fit, the Model 3. As of right now, he is fulfilling his commitment to commercialize electrification and offer an amazing user experience at a price point that, to be honest, has sucked its rivals out of the market. And based on the findings, I believe that the business is currently developing in response to all of that demand. Therefore, once more, is it the ideal organization for you to drive and monitor accuracy and performance from quarter to quarter? No. However, if you want to look at things from a distance and ask yourself, where can I compound my money, especially with the ConvertSys set? What's so lovely is that it's side protected because it sits on top of all the equity and other loans. Therefore, they receive payment first if you are worried about liquidity problems or that the business could have to sell. In my opinion, it was a risk-free choice for our generation's Edison. There is more to Tesla's remarkable success than merely watching from the sidelines. Seeking Alpha is your one-stop shop for the most recent information on Tesla, including its stock price targets, innovations, and everything related to Elon Musk for stock market enthusiasts and those with an eye for finding the next big thing. Our channel may get a commission if a customer makes a purchase after clicking on the affiliate links in the description. Unfortunately, he and the insiders do not have adequate influence over their common shares, which is the reason a group of vulture-like venture and hedge funds, mostly hedge funds, are in charge of it and enjoy taking advantage of that business. For instance, if you look at the traffic on Twitter or the forums around Tesla, you can see how much sniping and hype it has generated. All of it tells me that the market is firmly in the hands of financial manipulators and beyond the founders and executives' control. In my opinion, you should purchase the bonds, you're safe, and let Elon do the job. To be honest, all I can see is that he has made an effort to perform as well as possible. He sets bold goals, works hard to get them, and occasionally falls short of them, but that's good, because you would be thrilled if you took a 5-year perspective and asked yourself, what has he promised in 2014, and what is he doing in 2019 during the course of the year or 5 years? Right, the same is true if you stand aside and say, let the man do his job from 2019 to 2024. Will our situation as a planet, a species, as people, and as consumers improve or deteriorate? It will benefit us. The Model 3 is an amazing vehicle. I recently purchased one. I purchased it, and it's amazing. You're getting sucked into window dressing, which is what I'm trying to say. I'm concentrating on the main dish. On the table is the main course. As a buyer or seller of that stock, you have to decide whether you want to eat it or not. My point is this: who cares if you get sucked into all the ancillary details? He might occasionally moe. As an astute investor, it is your responsibility to distinguish between the news and the facts and the noise and the fiction. Furthermore, none of that matters. That doesn't alter the reality that tens of thousands of buyers are purchasing that vehicle before they can have it. it doesn't change the fact that your perception of what is expected of you is permanently changed the moment you get in that automobile. You then question why the features that that automobile offers aren't included in every other vehicle you see around you, even ones you may purchase. Ultimately, his content is undeniable, regardless of your opinion of his approach. After Apple debuted the iPod, I recall purchasing a number of Zune media players. I also recall the vast number of great cell phones I bought when the iPhone was debuted. It's not what people do. You know, it tends to be the case that when you redefine expectations and you have a category leader and you have an indelible brand and a mark that people recognize, the simplest choice, let me be a little pejorative, the lazy one is to choose the winner and run with it. And in this situation, there is a clear winner in electrification. It is done. That die has been cast. And so now the question is, can you build the infrastructure to deliver the demand? And if given time and if given tolerance, I believe he would. And I vote with my money that he can achieve it. And anybody that wagers against him may do it as well. But at what stake, really? Because it's not as though the stock has no protection against declines. Those that are short-sighted are the ones who are short this firm. Given the amount of businesses that would emerge from the woods, do you not believe that Apple, with its roughly $200 billion, 0 cents in cash, would support this firm and have the opportunity to acquire outright and enter a $1 trillion market if it were in any danger? Would Google, which has already made an attempt to purchase it, not make another attempt? What therefore are we wagering against? Are we wagering against a more pristine planet because that bothers us? Do we enjoy breathing in the fumes and carbon monoxide from all these cars? We're betting against gorgeous flat screens and elegant methods to control your automobile experience because that bothers us. His style is being bet against. They don't like his style. Even if the market is booming, Jim Chanos only makes money once every 10 years. He also never appears on CNBC, and he stays for 5 minutes whenever something works. Fantastic as a hedge in a portfolio with 1% in a short fund, perfect for Jim Chanos. In actuality, however, it makes sense to be long stocks. It makes sense to be long-term innovative. It has never been advantageous to place a wager against business people who are revolutionizing the world. Why begin now? This, in my opinion, is a very significant illustration of a much larger trend in the stock market. Ordinary investors now have access to so much information that they are nearly on level with those who work for traditional investing firms. As a result, we have observed that the quality of that analysis and the capacity to look forward are on par with and frequently better than traditional investment companies in their approach to the issue. Thus, there has been a great deal of conflict between the bulls and the bears on this firm since day one. Additionally, the bulls essentially saw a long-term electrification trend. Additionally, the bears attempted to experiment with balance sheet math. Naturally, you would ask, what does any of this mean if I told you that you might sell 90,000 automobiles, but that you hadn't sold 10,000 if you negative sold 100,000? You could try to short this stock using any complicated reasoning, and all you would have done is lose a ton of money. Consequently, we will see that the stock will join the S&P 500 stock index. In terms of electrification and decarbonization, it is in the forefront. Andrew, here's the thing. What the bears will ignore and what the bulls will get right